Today we're going to show you how to change the drive pulley on your washer, and it's a really easy job. All we're going to need is a 1/4 inch nut driver, a 15/16 socket with a short extension and a ratchet, and if you have one, we could use a torque wrench as well. Let me show you how we do it. Now to do this repair, we will need to gain access to the back of the washer, so you'll need to disconnect it from the power supply, and probably going to need to remove the fill hoses, so turn off the water supply, remove the fill hoses, and then get some help and pull that washer out where you can actually access the back of it quite easily. We'll start by removing the 4 screws that hold that back panel on. And because we're getting close to some sharp metal edges, I suggest that you put some protective gloves on. Now there are 4 tabs that also hold that back panel in, so I'm just going to lift up on it, and then we'll pry out on the bottom to release the 2 tabs and set it aside. Now next we can rotate the drum and roll the belt off of the pulley. So just pull out on that belt while you're rotating the drive pulley and set that aside. Now next, using the 15/16 socket, we're going to remove that retainer nut, and we're just going to give that a sharp snap with the ratchet just to break it free. And then remove the nut completely. That's a nylock nut. It has a nylon insert on the back end of it that is used to lock the nut in place. And once it's been used once, that is damaged, so we're going to discard the old nut and we'll use the one that came with the pulley. Next, we'll just give that a little bump all the way around until it frees up. Slide it off of the shaft. You notice the double flat-sided shaft on that pulley, and discard the old one. We'll slide the new pulley onto the shaft. And you just have to give that a little bump to force it on. We don't suggest using a hammer for this, just use the back of your hand. And we're going to take that new nut with the nylock locking device on it. We'll thread that onto the shaft. Now, using the socket and ratchet, we're going to tighten that nut. And if you don't have a torque wrench, we'll tighten this till it's snug, and then another 1/4 of a turn will approximate the proper torque for that nut. Now if you do have a torque wrench, we're going to set that to 44 pounds or foot-pounds. Just lock that there. And you can hold that pulley from turning. Just slide a flat screwdriver blade into that opening. Just hold it tight there till our torque is set properly. And we're going to reinstall that belt, groove side against the pulley. So we'll just reach in and wrap it around the pulley as far as the top, and hook the bottom around the drive motor pulley. And then while holding the belt against the large pulley, I'll rotate that until it rides all the way up onto the pulley. And then just rotate it a few times until we determine where it's going to center itself. We try to make sure that we get it halfway between the back edge and front edge of the large pulley. And the motor pulley is a groove pulley, so it will allow us to move that about 1/16 of an inch per groove. So you can just put a little tension on it as you're rotating it to set it into the next groove. And once we've got it set properly, we'll put the back cover back on. We'll just engage the tabs on the back panel into the slots on the cabinet and flex it as required to engage the opposite tabs. And install the 4 screws. And now we can reposition the washer. We're now ready to reconnect the power, and our repair is complete.